there, my name is Kim. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a week of dinner ideas. Fairly healthy, budget friendly meals for 4 picky kids and us. So if that interests you, please keep watching.
So on this day, I made a soup with homemade chicken stock, diced tomatoes, lentils, spinach, a butternut squash that I've been meaning to use up, and some sausage. I also added garlic and onion. This turned out pretty good. It was one of those days where I adjusted what I had originally planned to make because of being out of ingredients. I think I wanted to make a broccoli cheddar soup, but I did this instead because I had all the things for it, and it turned out good. The next day we made some lasagna, again using up ingredients. I've got mozzarella, some more spinach, cottage cheese, beef, the tomato basil pasta sauce, and like a half a jar of Alfredo left from making some chicken Alfredo pizza. And we always use whole grain pasta. So here I am browning up the beef. I have my daughter helping me with cottage cheese. I much prefer ricotta, but it's been so expensive lately that I did use cottage cheese this time. And I also added in that Alfredo with the cottage cheese and spinach. Here's my meat sauce, and then I just went ahead and layered. I never remember the correct order for layering, but whatever, it worked out fine. And then here's my kids helping me out, and I don't ever boil my noodles ahead of time. I just put them in unbaked. I add extra sauce and a little bit of water as well. For dessert, we had some of these peanut butter marshmallows.
Okay, so today I'm doing a roast in my crock pot. I like to use the crock pot for my roast rather than the Instant Pot because I feel like my crock pots deliver more even heat. So when I really need like a big chunk of meat to get nice and tender and shredded, that's what I use. So I have 2.5 pounds of roast. This was on sale a little while ago for $5.99 a pound. So I bought a big roast and a big pack of steaks, and I froze them. Got some ranch seasoning and some pepperoncinis, which I'm going to add in. And this pot roast mix that I really like. So it's sort of like a Mississippi roast, but I don't think I'm gonna add the butter. All right, so I'm just searing my roast on all sides, and I seasoned it with my ranch seasoning, which is homemade. It's just garlic and onion powder, parsley, chives, and something else. Yeah, there's another herb in there. So I'm gonna sear that and then get it into the crock pot with the other ingredients. All right, so the recipe on that little gravy pack calls for half a cup of water. I always do a cup. I'm just going to pour it over top here, throw in a couple pepperoncinis, and put it on low. All right, going to stick that in on low. All right, I'm also throwing some mashed potatoes that I made like a week ago and froze the extra of, just to make it easier, because it is a weeknight dinner. I'm just prepping this in the morning. And I'm also going to thaw this broccoli so I can roast it in the air fryer. We're also going to do some roast potatoes. Possibly rice for some of the kids who don't like potatoes at all, but we will see. I will use things like the rice cooker and air fryer and stuff to make it easier to make all these sides. Yeah, part of the reason why I don't do things like a roast dinner very often is because the kids don't like potatoes or beans. And those are like the sides I like with pot roast. And yeah, I could force them to eat it, but I don't want to. I at least like for them to have one thing they really like with each meal, and I would rather not make a meal where they don't like anything. They're not huge on pot roast. I'm gonna ask them to try a bit, but I'm gonna do some rice along with the potatoes just because they do really like rice and they do really like broccoli. I'm also probably gonna make some Yorkshires, but we'll see how it goes. I'm working from home today, so it depends how much work I end up having to do. All right, so there's what it looks like. Hot. Now I'm just gonna try and shred it. I've got some Yorkshire batter here, and yeah, there's my other things, which I think I showed already. All right, so there's my roast. I like to shred them up and then put them on top of mashed potatoes and stuff. I am going to put it back in the crock pot on warm until we're ready to eat.
So I just air fried the potatoes with some ranch seasoning and oil. Here's my broccoli that I roasted, and then I also made my Yorkshires.
All right, so here's everything. Here's the pot roast. I added some mushrooms that I had in the fridge from another meal. Just toss them in there. Got broccoli, couscous, because my son was gonna make some rice, but he asked for couscous, and I was like, sure. Yorkshires, I think they could have used a few more minutes though, but whatever. Roasted potatoes and mashed potatoes. 3 different starch side choices. Partly because I'm a pushover, partly because I just want to enjoy my meal in peace tonight. All right, so tonight we're making tacos.
Okay.
We've got a bunch of different toppings here. We've got cheese, some taco, some taco beef, some avocados that really needed to be made into guacamole, tomatoes, corn. Yes, just leave it. Rice. We were totally out of rice. Then I looked in the freezer and saw a bag of cooked rice, and I was like, perfect. A few refried beans that need to be used. My sour cream's frozen, so I guess we're not eating that. Beans, and then, lettuce, and a couple different taco shell options. Yeah. I let the kids choose between beans, beef, or cheese for their protein in their tacos. That's dinner.
So if you watch my recent full day of food, you will have seen this meal already, but for dinner we just had some fish fingers that needed to be used up, or fish sticks or whatever, plus some chicken strips, fries, and then I also cut up some raw veggies with this as well. Just super easy, fun Friday meal. I made some dips to go with everything, so I've got a honey mustard sauce. I actually used this table syrup and I didn't love it. Next time I would do brown sugar like I normally do. Made some fry sauce with ketchup, Worcestershire, and mayo, and then I also did a tartar sauce with jalapeno relish, a little bit of lemon and mayo. And yeah, here's the veggies that I was talking about, which everyone snacked on while they waited for dinner. And here is the final meal here. This was like just enough for everyone. I should have done a bit more. This is definitely a favorite and everyone eats a lot when I make it. We also had some dill pickle hummus with the veggies. And here's my plate. Just a nice snacky, fun sort of meal for Friday. The next day on Saturday, I did some roasted green beans. These are just frozen green beans that I thawed a little bit and roasted with some seasonings and oil. We had steak, and I cut up a 39-cent baguette, and we did some balsamic vinegar and olive oil with that. I also made a dessert this night from my Sally's Baking Addiction cookbook. So it's a brown sugar marble pound cake. Here's all the ingredients. I actually made this because I was out of a lot of ingredients, and this was one of the few that I had everything for. So here's my son helping me here. You kind of do like a marbling effect with the different batters, and this one kind of all blurred together when I was done, but it still tasted good in the end. It was sort of like a really sweet caramelly banana bread. On the final night of this week, Sunday, I took my leftover pot roast from dinner on Wednesday, some sour cream, some cream cheese, some cream of mushroom soup that I had, onion, Worcestershire sauce, and spaghetti, and I made a stroganoff. I don't usually do cream of mushroom in my stroganoff, but I had it, and so I just used it this time. So here is everything. Sauteed the onions, added in the leftover pot roast, added in the cream of mushroom, and then next was a little bit of beef broth that I had, which I forgot to show, but I did add that, some Worcestershire, and then after that was my cream cheese, and then the sour cream. Once that was all thickened up, I added some parsley. I didn't have any fresh, but I used dried, and then tossed it with the spaghetti pasta. Normally I would do egg noodles, but this is what I had, using up leftover ingredients. So there's my plate. So yummy. And here's how our dessert turned out. See, it didn't really marble, but it did taste good. So it's what it is.
So that was our week of dinners. If you like my content, please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.